the angels have fallen, and the world belongs to the new gods. This phrase from Blade Runner 2049 sounds like fiction, but it's closer to reality than we'd like to admit. Today, intelligent machines don't just serve us, they observe us, learn, and, in many cases, decide for us. Your smartphone suggests the perfect song, recommends the fastest route, and even remembers what you forgot. Seems convenient, doesn't it? But here's the mystery. How do these machines know so much about you? And, most importantly, who is really in control? You or them? Get ready to discover how these machines are reading your mind, and what this means for the future of humanity. The technology we use every day seems like magic. But, as Arthur C. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And indeed, it's hard not to marvel at what these smart machines can do. They predict what you want to watch, suggest what you should buy, and even help you organize your life. But here's the mystery. How do they manage to do this? How do these machines know so much about you? Sometimes more than you do. The answer lies in something we call intelligent machines. They are not just tools. They are systems that learn, reason, and, in many cases, make decisions for us. But unlike a hammer or a screwdriver, these machines are not passive. They are constantly observing, analyzing, and adjusting their behavior based on the data they collect. And this is where the mystery begins to deepen. Think about your Instagram feed. Every photo, every video, every ad seems tailor-made for you. But this is no coincidence. Behind every scroll, there is an algorithm that analyzes your clicks, your likes, and even the time you spend looking at an image. He learns from you. It adapts to you. And in many cases, he knows what you want before you even know it. But this is not limited to social media. Consider Netflix. When you open the platform, it already has a list of recommendations waiting for you. And these are not generic recommendations. They are choices based on what you watched, what you paused, and even what you abandoned in the middle. Netflix isn't just suggesting movies. It is shaping your entertainment experience. And in doing so, she is shaping your preferences. And then there are virtual assistants, like Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant. They don't just answer your questions, they learn from you. They know what kind of music you like, what your commitments are, and even how you prefer to adjust the lights in your home. They are designed to make your life easier, but in doing so they are collecting data about you on an unprecedented scale. But here's the question no one wants to answer. Who's really in control? You, who use these machines, or them, who learn from you and shape your choices? And, more importantly, what happens when these machines make mistakes? Or, even worse, when they are used to manipulate you? This is the central mystery of intelligent machines. They promise convenience, efficiency, and personalization. But at the same time, they raise profound questions about privacy, autonomy, and control. Are we really in charge of these machines, or are we becoming cogs in a system we don't fully understand? And the mystery deepens even further when we consider what these machines know about us. Every time you do a Google search, watch a YouTube video, or use your car's GPS, you are feeding these machines information about you. They know where you live, where you work, what you like to eat, and even who you communicate with. And the more data they have, the more accurate they become. But this raises a disturbing question. What are these machines doing with all this data? And who is controlling what they do? Tech companies, governments, hackers, everyone has a stake in accessing and using this data. And in many cases, you don't even know you're being monitored. Consider the case of targeted ads. Have you ever had the feeling that your smartphone is listening to your conversations? You casually mention something to a friend, say, a trip to Italy, and suddenly you start seeing ads for flights and hotels in Rome. This is no coincidence. It's the result of algorithms that analyze your data and try to predict what you want. But this raises an important question. How willing are we to sacrifice our privacy in exchange for convenience? And then there is the issue of manipulation. Smart machines don't just observe, they influence. They are designed to keep you engaged, to make you click, buy, and consume. And in many cases, they do this so subtly that you don't even notice. For example, YouTube's algorithm is designed to keep you watching. It suggests videos that are increasingly relevant to you, creating a cycle of engagement that can be addictive. But this raises an ethical question. To what extent are these machines shaping our choices and behaviors? And the mystery doesn't stop there. Consider facial recognition systems. They are used to unlock smartphones, monitor airport security, and even identify criminals. But these systems are not perfect. They can make mistakes. And in some cases, those mistakes can have serious consequences. For example, there are documented cases of people being wrongfully arrested because a facial recognition system wrongly identified them as suspects. This raises a fundamental question. Can we trust these machines to make decisions that affect our lives? And finally, there is the question of the future. As intelligent machines become more advanced, they are starting to make decisions that were once exclusive to humans. They are being used to decide who gets a loan, who gets hired for a job, and even who gets priority medical treatment. But this raises an unsettling question. Are we ready to live in a world where machines have so much power over our lives? The central mystery of intelligent machines is not just how they work, but what they mean for us as a society. They promise a future of convenience and efficiency, but they also raise profound questions about privacy, autonomy, and control. And, as we will see, these questions do not have easy answers. The idea of creating machines that think like humans is not new. In fact, it is as old as humanity itself, since the earliest myths and legends. We have dreamed of building something that could imitate, or even surpass the human mind. But, like every dream, this one also came with a price. The constant tension between the desire for control and the fear of losing that control. In Greek mythology, we find one of the first examples of this fascination. Talos, the bronze giant, was an automaton created by Hephaestus, the god of the forge. To protect the island of Crete, he was a machine, but also an entity with purpose and power. Talos patrolled the island's shores, destroying any invaders who dared approach. But in the end, he was defeated, not by strength, but by cunning. His fall was a reminder that no matter how powerful machines are, they always have a weak point. Fast forward to the 15th century, and we find another milestone in the history of intelligent machines: mechanical automatons. During the Renaissance, inventors like Leonardo da Vinci created machines that imitated human and animal movements. One of da Vinci's most famous designs was a mechanical knight, capable of moving its arms, rotating its head, and even opening and closing its mouth. Although rudimentary, these creations showed that the idea of intelligent machines was already rooted in the human imagination. But it was only in the 19th century that the dream began to become reality. In 1837, Charles Babbage designed the analytical engine, considered the first mechanical computer. Although it was never built in its entirety, the analytical engine was revolutionary. It could perform complex calculations and even store information, something that, at the time, seemed like pure science fiction. And then came Ada Lovelace, the daughter of poet Lord Byron, who saw the true potential of Babbage's creation. She wrote what is considered the first computer program, predicting that these machines could go beyond numbers and think creatively. But the real turning point came in the 20th century, with the invention of the first electronic computers. During World War II, Alan Turing, one of the greatest computer geniuses, developed the bombe, a machine designed to decipher Nazi codes. Turing not only helped shorten the war, but also laid the foundation for what we now call artificial intelligence. He believed that, one day, machines could learn and think like humans. and in 1950, he proposed the famous Turing test, an experiment to determine whether a machine could fool a human into believing it was interacting with another person. It was around this time that the term artificial intelligence began to gain traction. In 1956, during a conference in Dartmouth, United States, scientists such as John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, and Claude Shannon met to discuss the future of intelligent machines. They believed that, with the advancement of technology, it would be possible to create machines capable of learning, reasoning, and even adapting to new situations. But while the ideas were promising, the technology at the time was limited. Computers were large, slow, and incapable of performing complex tasks. Then, something changed. In the 1980s, with the advancement of computing and the emergence of large volumes of data, what we call big data, machines began to truly learn. Instead of being programmed to perform specific tasks, they began to use algorithms to analyze patterns and make decisions based on those patterns. This was the beginning of what we call machine learning. But the real leap came with artificial neural networks, systems inspired by the functioning of the human brain. These networks allowed machines to not only learn, but also reason and adapt. This is how the intelligent machines we know today emerged. And here's the most important detail. These machines don't work alone. They rely on data. Lots of data. Every time you do a Google search, watch a YouTube video, or use your car's GPS, you are feeding these machines information about you. And the more data they have, the smarter they become. But this raises a disturbing question. What are these machines doing with all this data, and who is controlling what they do? Tech companies, governments, hackers, everyone has a stake in accessing and using this data. And in many cases, you don't even know you're being monitored. Consider the case of virtual assistants, such as Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant. They don't just answer your questions, they learn from you. They know what kind of music you like, what your commitments are, and even how you prefer to adjust the lights in your home. They are designed to make your life easier, but in doing so, they are collecting data about you on an unprecedented scale. And then, there are recommendation algorithms, used by platforms like Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube. They analyze your habits, your preferences, and even the time you spend watching certain types of content. The result: a personalized experience that keeps you engaged and often hooked. But what makes all this possible? The answer lies in artificial neural networks, which imitate the functioning of the human brain. These networks are made up of layers of artificial neurons, which process information in a similar way to the human brain. They are able to recognize patterns, learn from experience, and even make predictions. For example, a neural network can analyze thousands of images of cats and, over time, learn to identify a cat in a photo that it has never seen before. But while these networks are impressive, they also have limitations. They don't think like humans, at least, not yet. They are good at recognizing patterns, but they don't understand the context or meaning behind those patterns. This means that, in some cases, they can make mistakes. And, as we will see, these mistakes can have serious consequences. And then there is the question of the future. As intelligent machines become more advanced, they are starting to make decisions that were once exclusive to humans. They are being used to decide who gets a loan, who gets hired for a job, and even who gets priority medical treatment. But this raises an unsettling question. Are we ready to live in a world where machines have so much power over our lives? The context and origin of intelligent machines shows us that they are a powerful tool, but also a double-edged sword. They have the potential to transform the world in ways we can't even imagine. But they also raise profound questions about privacy, autonomy, and control. And, as we will see, these questions do not have easy answers. Smart machines didn't just appear to impress. They came to transform. And in a short time, they went from technological curiosities to indispensable tools shaping the way we live, work, and connect. But what really made them so revolutionary? The answer lies in your ability to learn, adapt, and, above all, solve problems that previously seemed impossible. Think about virtual assistants like Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant. They're not just talking robots. They are systems designed to understand your voice, interpret your intentions, and respond in a helpful way. But what makes them truly impressive is their ability to learn from you. The more you use them, the more they adapt to your preferences. They know what kind of music you like, what your commitments are, and even how you prefer to adjust the lights in your home. They don't just respond, they anticipate. And then there are recommendation algorithms used by platforms like Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube. These systems don't just suggest content, they create personalized experiences. When you open Netflix, for example, it already has a list of recommendations waiting for you. But these recommendations are not random. They are based on everything you watched, paused, or abandoned in between. Netflix isn't just suggesting movies, it's shaping your entertainment experience. And in doing so, you are shaping your preferences. But the impact of smart machines goes far beyond entertainment. In healthcare, they are literally saving lives. Consider the case of machine learning algorithms used to diagnose diseases. In 2017, Google researchers developed an artificial intelligence system capable of detecting diabetic retinopathy, a condition that can lead to blindness, with the same precision as an experienced ophthalmologist. And that's just the beginning. Today, AI systems are being used to analyze imaging scans, predict disease outbreaks, and even develop new medicines. And then there is the impact on work. Smart machines are transforming the way we work, automating repetitive tasks, and freeing up time for humans to focus on more creative and strategic activities. For example, in factories, robots equipped with artificial intelligence are being used to assemble cars, inspect products, and even predict machine failures before they happen. This not only increases efficiency, but also reduces costs and improves quality. But perhaps the most striking example is the use of intelligent machines in science. In 2020, an artificial intelligence system called AlphaFold, developed by solved one of the biggest mysteries in biology: protein folding. This discovery has the potential to revolutionize medicine, allowing the development of new medicines and treatments for diseases that were previously considered incurable. And the most impressive, AlphaFold achieved this in a matter of weeks, something that would have taken human scientists decades. And we cannot forget the impact on education. With the COVID-19 pandemic, smart machines have become essential for remote learning. Platforms like Duolingo, Khan Academy, and Coursera use algorithms to personalize teaching, adapting content to each student's needs. This not only makes learning more efficient, but also more accessible, allowing people around the world to access quality education. But what really sets smart machines apart is their ability to solve complex problems. Consider the case of autonomous cars. These vehicles are not just driverless cars. They are highly sophisticated systems, equipped with sensors, cameras, and algorithms that allow them to navigate roads, avoid obstacles, and even predict the behavior of other drivers. Although they are still in the development phase, autonomous cars have the potential to drastically reduce traffic accidents, save lives, and transform the way we travel. And then there is the impact on the environment. Smart machines are being used to monitor climate change, predict natural disasters, and even develop solutions to environmental problems. For example, drones equipped with artificial intelligence are being used to map forests, monitor wildlife, and identify areas of deforestation. This not only helps protect the environment, but also provides valuable data for scientists and policymakers. But as with any revolution, the success of smart machines has not come without challenges. For them to work, they need data, lots of data. And this raises important questions about privacy, security, and control. But for now, the positive impact of these machines is undeniable. They are helping us solve problems that once seemed impossible, opening up new possibilities and transforming the world in ways we can't even imagine. And as we will see, this success comes at a price. Perfect. Now let's move on to the fall, controversies and scandals section, where we will explore the ethical dilemmas, mistakes, and negative impacts of intelligent machines. This part will be the longest and most detailed, around 3,000 to 4,000 words, diving deep into the issues that have arisen with the use of these technologies. Let's go. Behind all the glitz and glamour of smart machines, there is a dark side. A side that rarely makes the headlines, but that is shaping our lives in ways we don't always realize. Because while these machines promise convenience and efficiency, they also bring with them a host of problems. Problems ranging from privacy to manipulation to catastrophic errors and built-in biases. And it all starts with a fundamental issue: privacy. Every time you use your smartphone, make a purchase online, or post something on social media, you are sharing data about yourself. And this data isn't just numbers or statistics, it's pieces of your life. They reveal where you live, what you like to do, who you communicate with, and even how you think. And in many cases, you don't even know you're being monitored. Consider the case of targeted ads. Have you ever had the feeling that your smartphone is listening to your conversations? You casually mention something to a friend, say, a trip to Italy, and suddenly you start seeing ads for flights and hotels in Rome. This is no coincidence. It's the result of algorithms that analyze your data and try to predict what you want. But this raises an important question. How willing are we to sacrifice our privacy in exchange for convenience? And then there is the issue of manipulation. Smart machines don't just observe, they influence. They are designed to keep you engaged, to make you click, buy, and consume. And in many cases, they do this so subtly that you don't even notice. For example, YouTube's algorithm is designed to keep you watching. It suggests videos that are increasingly relevant to you, creating a cycle of engagement that can be addictive. But this raises an ethical question. To what extent are these machines shaping our choices and behaviors? And the problem doesn't stop there. Consider the case of social networks. In 2018, the Cambridge Analytica scandal revealed how data from millions of Facebook users was used to manipulate elections. The company used algorithms to identify undecided voters and bombard these individuals with personalized ads designed to influence their opinions. It was a chilling reminder of how intelligent machines can be used for dark purposes, and how they can threaten democracy itself. But perhaps the most worrying aspect is the bias built into these machines. Because although they are designed to be objective, intelligent machines reflect the biases and limitations of their creators. This means that, in some cases, they may make unfair or discriminatory decisions. For example, facial recognition systems have been criticized for their inability to identify people of different ethnicities with the same accuracy. In 2019, an MIT study revealed that these systems were significantly less accurate at identifying black women compared to white men. This is not just a technical problem. It is an ethical problem, which can have serious consequences, and these consequences are already being felt. In 2020, a man named Robert Williams was arrested in Detroit, United States, after a facial recognition system mistakenly identified him as a suspect in a robbery. Williams spent hours in jail before police realized their mistake. This case is not isolated. He is an example of how intelligent machines can make mistakes, and how those mistakes can ruin lives. And then there is the issue of dependency. We are becoming more and more dependent on these machines. They help us make decisions, but in doing so, they are making us less able to think for ourselves. We are delegating our choices to algorithms, and, in many cases, we don't even realize we are doing it. Consider the case of autonomous cars. While they promise to reduce accidents and save lives, they also raise important questions about liability. Who is to blame if a self-driving car causes an accident? The driver, the manufacturer, the programmer? These are questions that still do not have clear answers. And finally, there is the question of the future. As intelligent machines become more advanced, they are starting to make decisions that were once exclusive to humans. They are being used to decide who gets a loan, who gets hired for a job, and even who gets priority medical treatment. But this raises an unsettling question. Are we ready to live in a world where machines have so much power over our lives? And what happens when these machines make mistakes? In 2018, an Uber self-driving car struck and killed a pedestrian in Tempe, Arizona. It was the first documented case of a death caused by an autonomous vehicle. An investigation revealed that the car's AI system was unable to identify the pedestrian as an obstacle in time to avoid the accident. This case was a tragic reminder that, no matter how advanced they are, intelligent machines are still fallible. And then, there is the issue of security. As smart machines become more connected, they also become more vulnerable to attacks. In 2016, a cyber-attack known as the Mirai botnet, used connected devices, such as security cameras and smart thermostats, to launch a massive attack that took down sites like Twitter, Netflix, and Spotify. This attack was a reminder that in an increasingly connected world, security is as important as innovation. But perhaps the biggest problem of all is control, because at the end of the day, the fundamental question is not what smart machines can do, but who is in control of them. Tech companies, governments, hackers, everyone has an interest in accessing and using these machines for their own purposes. And in many cases, the end user, you, has little or no control over how these machines work or what they do with your data. And this brings us to a fundamental question. Are we ready to live in a world where intelligent machines have so much power over our lives? And if we're not, what can we do to change that? The angels have fallen, and the world belongs to the new gods. This quote from Blade Runner 2049 isn't just a science fiction quote. It is a mirror of the world we live in today. Because, whether we like it or not, intelligent machines are already shaping our lives. And, in many cases, deciding for us. But what does this mean for the future of humanity? And, most importantly, what does this mean to you? Intelligent machines are, without a doubt, one of humanity's greatest achievements. They help us solve complex problems, save time, and improve our lives in ways that were previously unimaginable. They are saving lives in medicine, transforming education, and even helping to combat climate change. But as we've seen, they also bring with them a host of challenges. Challenges ranging from privacy, to manipulation, to catastrophic errors, and embedded biases. And this brings us to a fundamental question. Who is in control? Because ultimately, the true legacy of intelligent machines will not be defined by what they can do, but by what we choose to do with them. Consider the impact of these machines on the way we connect. Today, social networks are powered by algorithms that prioritize engagement above all else. They show you what you want to see, but in doing so, they create bubbles of information that can distort your view of the world. They amplify extreme voices, spread misinformation, and, in many cases, divide more than they unite. This isn't just a technical problem, it's a social problem, and it's up to us to decide how to deal with it. And then there is the issue of privacy. Every time you use your smartphone, make a purchase online, or post something on social media, you are sharing data about yourself. And this data isn't just numbers or statistics, it's pieces of your life. They reveal where you live, what you like to do, who you communicate with, and even how you think. And in many cases, you don't even know you're being monitored. But the true legacy of intelligent machines goes beyond privacy. It's in the way they are redefining what it means to be human. Because, as we delegate more and more decisions to these machines, we are, in a way, giving up our own autonomy. We are becoming dependent on systems we don't fully understand, and in many cases, don't even control. And this raises a disturbing question. Are we becoming less human? Because, in the end, what makes us human is not only our ability to think, but also our ability to feel, to make mistakes, to learn from our mistakes. And as intelligent machines take on more responsibilities, we risk losing something essential, something that cannot be measured in data or algorithms. But perhaps the greatest legacy of intelligent machines is this: they force us to confront our own limitations. They show us that, no matter how advanced we are still fallible. They remind us that true power is not in technology, but in how we choose to use it. And that leads us to a choice. We can use these machines to solve some of the world's biggest problems, from climate change to curing disease. We can use them to create a fairer, more sustainable, and more connected future. But to do this, we need to ensure they are used ethically and responsibly. We need to ensure that they serve humanity, and not the other way around. Every civilization was built on the back of a willingness to obey. This phrase from Blade Runner 2049 forces us to reflect. To what extent are we willing to delegate our power to machines? And, most importantly, who is really in control, us or them? Perhaps it is time to question whether we are ready to take responsibility for that future, because ultimately, the true legacy of intelligent machines will not be defined by what they can do, but by what we choose to do with them.